repulsive trend that I've experienced as a woman who happens to be black is the endless coddling and victimization from people like you. And by the way, I don't mean all white people. I'm speaking directly to the folks who think treating blacks like babies or making excuses for them is somehow gonna change the world for the better. White saviorism is a phenomenon that convinced agreeable people that they're somehow responsible for fighting injustice and dismantling barriers of systemic oppression because of the superiority or white privilege they inherited at birth. This idea has been driven by misguided notions of social justice, which create false representations of black people being weak, incapable, and in need of protection from the white supremacy boogeyman. Just to be clear, I am not diminishing the hardships that some people might face. In actuality, I acknowledge that the world is hard. I acknowledge that it can be unfair, unjust, unkind, and unpredictable. But what I am not convinced by is this idea that my skin color somehow predestines me to a life of misery and poverty unless I enlist the help of the anointed pseudo-intellectual. Racism isn't a problem for me. Prejudice comes in many forms, so let's stop pretending that one is worse than the other. You can't change someone's heart with activism or getting on a soapbox and congratulating yourself for taking a diversity workshop or calling someone a racist. The real fight against racism lies in empowering individuals to take accountability, pursue wisdom, learn valuable skills, start businesses, and become indispensable assets to society. As Booker T. Washington once stated, anyone who can do something that the world wants will succeed regardless of their race. And to be honest with you, I'm more inclined to take advice from a former slave who made something of himself than people who think every minor inconvenience is an act of racism. And I get it. There's gonna be a ton of people watching this who will call me a sellout, an Uncle Tom, tell me I hate myself, and suggest that I ain't black for rejecting their ideological pacifier. But if anything, it just goes to show how absurd it is to believe these people are the bastions of social justice while demonstrating a complete lack of self-awareness and sheer stupidity. White people, I implore you to challenge the notion that you must atone for the sins of your ancestors. True progress comes from living in the present and treating each other as equals through genuine understanding for the individual and not a collective that demands your blood sacrifice for something that you're not even responsible for. Jesus already paid for that on the cross, so forgive me if I scoff at the idea that fallible humans are somehow gonna save the world when they still need a savior themselves.